You gotta keep it funky.
You gotta keep it real, yo. May hurt feelings, but if you coming from a place of love, look here, baby. You know what I'm saying? Get a little, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A little around there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if it's from a place of love, like, I feel like there's different ways you can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, you want to come work out with me? You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
Yeah.
Or you want to, if you feel like the person just isn't motivated lately, then you just start giving them affirmations. Like, hey, I like the way you just start bigging them up. Like, I see what y'all see over there. You know what I'm saying? What you do different today? You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's different ways you can go about it other than just shooting shots.
No, that's true. But you know what's funny? Humans, we're so smart, right? So like a lot of times you do that and people be like, what you mean by that? Or, like, you know what I mean? But see, if you come from that place of love, then you can work back to what the point was and it can still be received. You know what I'm saying?
Alright. Yeah, that's true.
Because you'd be like, what you mean by that? You'd be like, I'm just like, I just feel like blah blah blah. You can have a genuine conversation about it. But if you come off disrespectful or whatever, like from the bad energy, then that might not even ever, you might never get to that point. You know what I mean?
You know what? We are smart. Someone called me this week, and they're like, nah, I want to hear your voice and things like this. You know, they talking sweet and everything, but also
wow.
Yo, but they did it so smooth, and then they got back to it was like a sandwich.
Wow.
Start off like, I want to hear your voice and this and that, but then let me ask you about this and that. You know, what you do, and did you, and then, but it's good hearing you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I miss you. It's all that right there, really. Yeah. And I'm like, that's why you called. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't until I got the phone. I was like, oh, that's right. That's why she called. Yeah. It was so smooth. Like that sandwich was like, the bread was thick. Yeah. Like the little incentives, like or like the favors in the middle. Yeah. But it was just enough. Just enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're right. We are smart. We can smell a scheme. That's why you gotta be real. Everything you do. And you're a poet. I feel like in our art too, people can tell what's real when you performing it and what's not.
Hey, that's real. So that's where you gotta be genuine, because honestly, that's what, even if you look at who's popular, who gets the biggest now, I'm not saying everybody's goal is to just be the biggest thing in the world, but like if you talk about the J. Cole's, the Kendricks, the Drakes, the whatevers, they're what they're doing nowadays that rappers I don't think did as much back in the day is they're just being completely vulnerable about their own lives. Because that's really the only thing, when there's a sea of millions of rappers out there, the only thing you can really do is be dope and tell your story. Because everybody else's story is already told, you know what I'm saying? So J. Cole talking about, I got a white mom, I grew up in Fayetteville in the hood, my dad wasn't around, my dad is black, he's from Alabama, I was born in Germany on a military base. Right. I moved to New York, to go to school. This dude he's obviously smart, he went to St. John's. He went to St. John's.
Congratulations.
Yeah, got on the rap scene, became a huge rapper from the hood. So that his story is real unique, but he has to tell his story.
Yeah, there's a way you paint the story too.
Yeah.
Because when does a story become repetitive? Everybody has a story of some kind of struggle. Everybody has a story of a broken heart. Everybody has a story of, success. But how is that story different?
Yeah. Are you saying in terms of when you say that? Are you saying in terms of you compared to other people who told similar stories? Definitely. Or are you talking about you telling the same story?
Definitely. So like, if you look at somebody telling the story of, like for J. Cole, for example, he talks about being in a mixed family. Yeah. Logic talks about the same thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now, Logic's dope, but then what if there's another logical that comes around and talks about him being in the mix, and somebody else, unreasonable reason, I feel like but they come in and talk about all the mix. Okay, are we tired of hearing about this? Yeah. Like when is when does the subject become repetitive? The story, because that's what we're talking about, like stories and realness. When is okay? I've heard this story. Like we talk about, you hear from the drug dealers. Yeah, that story is kind of
it's been played. Yeah, but I feel like obviously the first time is always the best time because it's all a new experience, right? So it's your first time thinking about it and all that kind of stuff, right? So, when J. Cole's like half black, half white, I'm a piano, I was like, oh, snap. Yeah. But then when Logic say I'm a slave and the master, I'm like, bruh, that's chill. I wasn't feeling that as much, but you was feeling that line?
I'm going to tell you, a lot of people don't like Logic from that point. Yeah. Not that line, but that point. That point, this is really about to turn left into the show. Okay. But I'm using Logic as an example.
Yeah.
But I think it's because, so his image, right? There's so many different layers that go into Logic versus Cole, because they both have black and white.
Right.
Logic, I guess he looks a little bit more, some would say, in quotation marks, lame and corny. Because he likes to play video games. I don't know if you've seen him do that at his shows. He's playing video games. Because he doesn't have the hair, you know, with the hairline, the cut, the cool cut. Because he wears the glasses, he looks a little, quotation marks. I'm putting quotation marks because we create in this society. Right. Now how I may view it, what the, you know, what the norms, exactly. It's a quotation. Then he looks more white than black. When you see Logic, he looks white. You don't think of him being black. When you see Cole, that's a nigga. No, I'm saying, like, Cole got the dreads down. You know what I'm saying? That is what he is. But, so I think when people see Logic, they're like, wait a minute, bro. I don't know why. People really don't. I respect it because that's his story. I think that's real. When he says he's the master and the slave, he comes from the lineage of where he comes from is from both descendants. That's as honest as you can get.
That is as honest as you get. And you know what?
Tell somebody I'm a slave and a master.
You know, it's you're right. It's just so. Okay. I guess my attitude about, and I love Logic. Under Pressure is one of my favorite albums ever, right? So and I like Logic, and I love video games too. I'm wearing glasses. I'm a skinny guy. I identify with a lot of that, right? You know what I'm saying? I got white, I got European ancestry too, you know what I'm saying? She's a melanin, you know, so, but I'm saying, like, I guess as somebody who doesn't identify or tie himself so much to the slave narrative, like, I think about, like, there's a poet, actually in your crew, Hassan, you know, shout out to World Society, shout out to Hassan. He talks about how slavery didn't, what did he say? It didn't define us. It didn't define our history. It interrupted it. Or he has a line like that, right? So when I had the slave and the master, I feel like so much is left out of that conversation because I feel like we were free for like however long period of time. Slavery happened for this period of time, and then we now define ourselves because we feel like we're separated from everything that happened before that. You know what I mean? So my attitude is when I hear that I'm slave and the master, I feel like it's still caught in the same loop. Kind of how you talk about we're tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. I'm about to switch gears real hard right now. Because just in society in general, especially with movies, I feel like we're so stuck on on 1800s in America slavery. And black people in America are like constantly all the movies are either going to be about slavery, the civil rights movement, or modern day urban crime movies kind of thing, right? We don't ever talk about, you can watch movies about Hercules, you can watch movies about Troy, you can watch movies about King Arthur, you can watch movies about Greek antiquity, Roman time periods, Gladiator, all these things, right? And they all touch on different parts of life. But with black people, we don't get to tell our whole story. You don't see movies about Shaka Zulu or Queen Nzinga or the Moors or Mansa Musa, none of that. It just starts with slavery and then we go from there. So when I hear the slave and the master, it's like, Logic, I know you're intelligent and you come from this different place, so it's like I want to hear more of that. But I bet you he does talk about that. I just haven't listened to enough of his music.
Yeah, listen to his last album.
Okay.
But skip Logic real quick. Push him to the side. You just hit something. Okay now. But why don't they show that? But it's 2017 and they still showing Egyptian movies with white people.
I'm laughing, but it's really not funny.
Like, yeah, like what the fuck?
It's funny because we're still surprised by it sometimes.
Yes, you're right. I am surprised. Call me naive or whatever. But who, like, now? I understand the agendas. Yeah. But are we that? Come on now. Is this really gonna be pulled? Like, is this? Are you telling me the whole? I'm talking about a movie just came out this summer. It came out this year. Majority of it, when I'm looking at it, it was by the Egyptians. That time period was white. I'm like, come on now. Yeah, and honestly, it's crazy. It's deep, but then it's not deep, right? Because there's certain agendas, but I feel like ultimately, for the people in those situations, it still probably goes back to money and then wanting. I think a lot of times it comes back to money, right? So these white guys are thinking, you know, we're gonna get a bunch of black people in the movies. Typically, black movies don't make as much money. Or whatever, blah blah blah. So they're thinking they're gonna get white people to play the parts. It was the same thing with what was the movie?
I don't know if you heard of the movie Ghost in the Shell, right? Ghost in the Shell is like a sci-fi movie that was made in Japan, right? And they casted Scarlett Johansson to play the main character. The character in the show is Japanese, but they casted her, right? They casted her because they couldn't think of any Asian actress that they would be able to put the name on the brand and make money, right? So they picked a popular white actress, thinking that they would make more money. They got a lot of backlash for it, but like,
they should have.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like we can't expect them to. They're trying to do what's interest of their pockets, so we can't be surprised.
It's lazy. At the end of the day, I say it's about content. I'm a content creator. I told somebody was asking me today. We talking about we were just old head. We talking about just he was talking about how people. You know, you don't tell your stuff to everybody. They steal your idea. And just my cocky confidence. I say, well, I'm a creator. That's what I do. I create. So you can take my idea, but I'm a creator. You can't create it like I can. You know, so I'm bringing that to this story right here. Is these people get lazy behind the scene? Is well, we can't create we can't create the marketing, or we can't create a storyline so compelling where we can get any actor or actress and put out there. We have to go grab a name and be a C+ movie or a B- movie, rather than just get somebody and focus on making it, work on years on making it an A+.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you're
like,
real.
Just put time in. Stop trying to be lazy. That's the everything going on right now. That's music.
Yeah.
That's definitely music. I'm seeing these labels get these. Let me check this out. Labels now are just getting, and a lot of artists are using the leverage, which is good. But labels it used to be a time period where they would market the hell out of it.
Yeah.
They would create. They used Motown. What made Motown so dope is they had artist development. They would work on your sound. They work on how you perform. Man, these artists, bro, have you seen these performances?
No.
It's just a hype show. It's just a yeah. Then the crowd, yeah. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing. When you go to a show, it should be that person. You right there. That's why I've been to a Drake show.
Okay.
He performed. He puts on. Going to another Hove show this year.
Yeah.
He puts on.
Okay.
But they're performing. You know what I'm saying? I've been to Alicia Keys. You know what I'm saying? I've seen different. It's this group called Black Violin.
Wow.
They are dope too. Two black guys playing violin. They put on the show.
Wow.
But I'm saying this, but it's a development.
Yep.
We've gotten out of the stage of how we develop things. We're so quick, and let's just take it for what it is and put it out there. So going back to like the labels and these artists, okay, you got 500,000 followers. Okay, we're gonna take you. Already got a following. Well, we need to market you. You already you got 2 million followers. Why we need to market you? Why we gonna put? Because marketing costs. Why we gonna put $5 million into marketing? That's how it be for an album. $10 million, $15 million into marketing you when you already got 3 million followers. You already got the bill. Now we just need to get you. We need to get you in the studio, get you with a popping producer, and then create that night that create the trendy sound. Get a feature. Get some of them dope ad libs. I need a couple of them ad libs over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, you're right, man.
It's lazy.
It is lazy. And you're actually right. 'Cause I've thought about that before, but you just articulated it so perfectly, and that was inspiring me too. What you just said. Because it is like taking the time to do it the right way. Is basically what we're talking about. There's a movie Black Panther about to come out, and I feel like this like the first time I feel like they're actually kind of trying to do it. They're still missing a little bit, but they're trying to. They got a black director, which I feel like was important, and they got like most of the young black talent. You know what I'm saying, to be in it, which is important. I was a little thrown off when I watched the preview and it was like dubstep and stuff like that. I feel like they could have did something more creative with the music. You know
okay. So we talking about Russian thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how long they've been working on it. I haven't, so I'm totally walking to this blind. But I don't know. I can't even make the comment I'm going to make because I don't know. I hope they took it. I'm just saying I hope they took their time with it.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of lesson to go with it. You know what I'm saying? We talk about far as going back to the conversation, learning about us before slavery. Now, that goes into another conversation of why do you want these certain amount of people to only know slavery?
Yeah.
Here's something that people, they get wrong. People think that slaves came to America. No, enslaved people came to America. There's a difference. There's a difference. But if you gotta see that little term right there can change your whole look and appeal of how you look at slavery and how you look at black people. Because if you think slaves came over here, what do you think? They were already slaves. No, people were enslaved into this country. So that means they were taken and brought here.
Well, I never thought about that because people do say they brought slaves over from Africa, but they didn't bring slaves over. They brought people over.
And that too is a creative narrative. Yeah. You had workers. You know what I'm saying? You had workers. You had people that thought, okay. Now you had some cases where people were raped. You had some cases where villages were torn apart, and people were grabbed. Then you had some cases where, hey, look here, man, we got a deal. How about I give you this, and we just need a few workers. Okay, I got a few workers for you. Boom. Let's change it to now. They were slaves, workers, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. But if you get people to think, if you're still trying to put people down and trying to control, then you say you were slaves. You came from slavery. Yeah. Like you talking about, far as movies and that whole scene of where we come from. Yeah. That's why I like Birth of a Nation.
I understand it.
You ain't see Birth of a Nation? Oh, come on, man.
I gotta see it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because it shows us being in a state of power.
Oh, okay.
Finally being that movie got just trashed.
Yeah.
Because of
oh boy.
Yeah, and his Nate, but his past
situation.
Yeah, it was like the whole rape case.
Yeah.
That they tracked now. We ain't even gonna go into that theory of why that was
like a smear campaign.
Yeah, but I mean that right there finally showed us in a compelling state where we were in power. We were slaves, we were taking over, we were killing white people. It's not just the white people. I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and us talking about this right now. This is the funny part I like. Whenever you're black and you talk about race, or you talk quotation marks on race, but we talk about like different things going on, you're racist now. Bump that.
Yeah,
it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel like going back, this is going to keep going back to confrontation and just becoming whole with yourself. I feel like when you can admit to yourself of the past, and you can admit to yourself of what your ancestors did, and you can admit to yourself who you are. If you're not that type of person, we all love. It's all game, baby.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I feel that, bro, on so many levels, because I do feel like it's like looking in a mirror, right? And America tries to avoid looking in the mirror with a lot of stuff. And they ask why they say like, why do black people keep talking about this and focusing on this or that? But it's like our stories represent generations of people who had no voice because they were just in bondage. We don't really know. I mean, I'm sure there was like some journalists and stuff like that that talked to slaves back in the day and wrote in some article right there. And you know, we have Frederick Douglass talked about his experience and stuff like that. Yeah. But generally speaking, for the millions of people that were slaves, that they were born on a plantation, they died on a plantation. We don't really know all of we didn't really get all of their thoughts. We don't know them as humans, you're right. So they're just like, you know, whatever. So we're like telling their stories now. We're trying to like work through that now. So when people say, well, why do y'all keep talking about the past? It's because there's tons of people that never got to speak. They never got to learn how to read. You know, think about that. They never got to learn how to read. So we're telling their stories.
The half has never been told.
That half has never been told. And then I guess, okay, so I'm ready to answer my question about talking about stuff outside of slavery. So we're telling those people's story because they didn't get to speak, but then at some point we got to work towards talking about identifying, like you said, on an even bigger scale than that. So not just we come from slavery, it interrupted our lineage. Now let's be great again, and let's not rely so much on, because like how you were saying, like the Egyptian movie, we shouldn't be relying on a white-owned studio in the middle of like Hollywood, which is probably like 90% white, blah blah blah. We shouldn't be relying on them to represent us properly. Like we should represent us properly. So we should do more for ourselves, even if it's on a smaller scale at first.
It's comfort.
Yeah.
But we gotta be comfortable to do that.
We do gotta be comfortable. We gotta be good within ourselves. It goes back to that.
Yeah, everything goes back to that. It's us being comfortable to say, I'm gonna take my money. I'm talking to the people that made hella money. I'm talking about people that made their millions. I'm gonna take my money instead of doing a show on such and such network, a big whatever network. I'm gonna create my own network. That's why whether the success of it is big or not, Diddy doing what he did with Revolt was big. Yeah. You know, Jay-Z having Tidal is big. Now, these other streaming services are killing it. But that's ownership right there. That's saying, look here, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna build something for ourselves. It takes time though. You know what I'm saying? It takes time to build. We're not building houses. We're building skyscrapers. That's all I want people to see. You can build a house, okay, but let's build something bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, you need houses, you need villages. So I take that back. We build houses, right? But then you also keep building.
Yeah.
Once you build that house, you got this real estate here. It's for certain things. Then you keep building those skys. So you keep building. I think it's all about building and owning.
Yeah,
not just renting out.
That's so real, man. That's only metaphor for what you just said, because I was thinking about the house. You build the house, yeah, that's for you and your family and your intimate people. But when you build a skyscraper, who's that for?
That's for everybody.
Yeah.
That's for the That's for the
skyscraper is for all the people to come in and get their money and do what they gotta do. You know?
Right about that. So I still that a lot.
You should do that, bro.
That
sounds dope, man.
I'm understood that with no, but I feel like that's just.
It is about ownership. I was thinking about this too, man. Just to kind of think about public housing, right? And you think about the mentality of people. They ask why do people in the hood or whatever like destroy their own, like you know when there's like riots or whatever whatever. They say, oh, why are they destroying their own stuff? If you were raised in a place it's public housing, so you don't own it, right? You don't own, like if you live in a public housing place, you're not working towards owning that place, right? So that automatically gives you a mentality that you're living on. You're just like existing on somebody else's land or somebody else's.
Accepting it.
Yeah.
That's the same thing when you accept food stamps. You got people that don't. This is wild right here. You got people that don't want to increase their salary because they want to stay under a certain salary. Just so they can get those food stamps. Just so they can qualify. That's why. Or just so they can qualify, not just for that, but they can qualify for certain other things. For the housing situation right there. If I start to make more than this, then I can't. Damn, man, if you don't get this money so you can move out.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but then that goes back on my people making hella money. And I'm not the type of person to tell you what you need to do with your money. Because what you do is you got priorities too. But I'm just saying, I think there's a responsibility we have towards getting our. If we want to see, there's a responsibility we have towards our culture, and that's because we have a gap. We were set in this gap. Anybody that makes $1 million, $100,000, but makes multi-millions, you've now been given this privilege to at least help that gap, help close that gap. The reason you were now in a privileged spot because we didn't come out to make those money, to make that amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, there's a definite responsibility with. I think any type of, like my homeboy always say, like ascension. We ascend to serve ultimately. So the goal is to ascend to serve because. I mean, else why? Like why? It's just greed or whatever at a certain point. But I wonder sometimes. I think about this because you think about how so many of our rich black people are rich from sports and entertainment, right? Like. At a certain point, to get to a certain level, I'm about to just combine all these different reference points I have in my head, right? I remember I was watching a Jadakiss interview, and Jadakiss was saying, like, when you're selling records, like, the first 700,000, that could be black people, but everything after 700,000 records, that's all white people. It ain't but so many black people out here, and there ain't but so many buying out. So after a certain point, the higher, I think Jay-Z might have said this too, the higher you go, you see less and less people that look like you, in terms of monetary speaking. So as you get more successful, you're less surrounded by your people. I wonder for these entertainers, is it hard for them? Because they say stuff that's like, say the Future's rich, right? And he says a lot of stuff that might be destructive for the community, right? But I guess generally speaking, right? So.
Totality speaking.
Yeah, I didn't want to. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how Future supporters feel about him, or if there's something I don't know. But I guess I'll speak how I feel.